Wonderful. A
Right.
huge welcome to everyone joining Mimi and I tonight. I'm so thrilled to have you all here. And I would love for all of you to embrace the 1st of May and to let's open our hearts, open our heads, open our arms, and go, we are having a marvelous May. We are going to have an amazing May, a massive May. We're going to set big goals, big, scary goals. We are going to just stretch ourselves a little more and be the best version of ourselves. I know I do want to introduce my beautiful friend, Mimi. But I also want to say a little bit about with Mimi. I think Mimi is one of the most positive people that I know. And I am positive that Mimi has a bit of a roller coaster ride in life at times, and that she probably also needs to read the little book of resilience, which I've been reading for January, February, March, and April. Hopefully, I can put it down for May. And I'm going to read one little thing. Success isn't always about greatness, it's about consistency. Consistent hard work gains success. Greatness will come. And that's by Dwayne Johnson, otherwise known as The Rock. I do like him. Very good. And another program that I watched was SAS when it was on TV. And one of the guys who ran that was Ant Middleton.
I've got that too.
Got that one? Mission Total Resilience.
Yeah.
Now, not only have I read the book, but I have it on Audible so that it is in my car and I've listened to about 6 of his books now. And for instance, he says, if you spend too much time wishing that things were different, you end up wasting time that you could have used making things different. And I think one thing that Mimi and I have in common is that we decided to make Nutrimetics really happen for us. We didn't wait for it to happen, because I've got news for all of you. If you're just waiting, it's not going to happen. So just to introduce Mimi just a little bit more, Mimi is joining us for a truly inspiring session. And as most of you would know, this session is called Creating a Bright Future. And every VIP, consultant, manager, director from all around Australia and all around New Zealand is welcome to join us it's usually the first Thursday of the month, but we might be going overseas on a seminar. We might be having a day off. So we change it according to when we can make it. But I asked Mimi a little bit to tell me what's one of the main things she loves about Nutrimetics. And for Mimi, it is about having choices for herself, her family, and her future. The word choices. I want you to write that down for me if you're taking notes or typing on your computer. Thanks to Nutrimetics, Mimi has lived a life full of freedom, taking her children on adventures worldwide. One of her favorite highlights, earning an unforgettable trip to Hawaii, to the island of Kauai. And we just had the best time. Our husbands had the best time. Our colleagues had the best time. It was truly incredible, a great experience. But for Mimi, not only was it one of her most unforgettable experiences, it was her very first overseas trip, courtesy of Nutrimetics, and her beautiful, beautiful upline presidential director, Deanna Perza, who's joined us as well. It was a dream come true. Get ready to hear her story, her why, and how she's built a fabulous life with opportunities and possibilities, not only for herself, but her family and every single person that she has invited into the business to be part of her team and part of her life. So welcome along to beautiful sales director from Adelaide, the gorgeous state of Adelaide, Mimi Carbone. Mimi, over to you,
Thank
sweetheart.
you. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. Can you see me?
We can.
Okay, I can only see you at the moment.
Oh, good. I will just change this so that Adam gave me strict instructions of how I could do this and what I do.
I don't know. Maybe the others can see me. That's fine. I don't know if
I'm
they
going to spotlight video. That's put me there. I know what I have to do. I'm just admitting another 5 people who would like to be on, and I have to hover over myself, find the little dots, and I can okay, speaker. All right. Can you start talking, Mimi, for me?
Okay, that's fine.
Can you see everyone yet?
I can see some people there. Yeah, I can see. Okay.
Okay.
I'll start talking anyway. As long
Great.
as they can see me, that's fine, Okay, there we are. That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Louise, for asking, because I think that every time we get asked to share something, I think it makes us even better students because we start to reflect on things that we've had over the years. So I thank you, and I thank everyone for giving up their special TV session to listen to me. So I'm speaking to each and every one of you, and I hope that tonight, I'm sure you will take something from what I say, because over the years, we all start the same. We all many years ago now, and I think I was of course very obsessed with listening to everyone and basically growing my skills in this business. So I'll take you back many years ago when I actually joined Nutrimetic. Had no idea what Nutrimetic was all about. I went to my sister-in-law's show, and the lady was promoting the products. And I said, Nutrimetic, what? She said, and she told me it was a natural product. I wasn't familiar with the brand because at that time I was using a lot of French cosmetics. I thought if it's expensive and it's French, it must be good. But on that night that we did the facial, I was very impressed with the product. But it wasn't just the product. I was impressed with the lady that presented. And back then, because obviously I was in my 30s, she was about 55, and I thought, oh my God, fancy 55. She's doing this business. She's working full time. She'd just come back from a trip to India. And I thought, this lady must never sleep. So I was very curious that mainly more about the trips because I was always, how can I say, one of my choices, one of my goals that I always wanted was to travel. And I'll just take you back a bit too. My father came to Australia when he was late in his years at 42. So I was about 8 years old when I arrived in Australia without obviously knowing the language or anything like that. I always dreamed that I could live 6 months in Australia and 6 months travel. So this is why the goal of traveling was because I was so connected and so missed not having the opportunity perhaps to travel as much to Italy or Europe and things like that. So when this lady spoke about traveling, being my personality, I'm more so, I suppose, as the years go by, I've been always very curious. And I asked her, how do you get a trip? And she said, she explained to me a little bit like that night, and I thought, I'm too busy. At that time, my husband and I were running a coffee shop, and my boys, I've got 2 boys, and they were 8 and 11. So I was very busy, mum, working full time, and we were building our house, which we live in now still, and running a business. So me taking something else on, it was out of the question. But thank God that the lady that I met was very obviously focused on her business, was very persistent. She didn't take no for an answer. And so she rang me a couple of times, but on the back of my head, I was still curious, how did she get that trip? So I went along to it was actually one-to-one, a private session for her and her upline to explain to me about the business. And all I could think is, wow, that would be amazing. I haven't got time, but I'll see how I can see how, if I've got a few hours a week, maybe it could work. Maybe in 10 years' time, I will get a trip. So I didn't, I felt it was impossible for me to be able to achieve a trip within a year, or some of them a year and a half, because of all the commitments that I had. So anyway, on that note, I got the kit. And I can tell you, I was pretty nervous. Pretty nervous because I have never been, obviously, like I said to you, English was my second language. And I can say to you today that I think Nutrimetic taught me a lot of the language, a lot of the confidence, and a lot of more things that I'm not the person that I was 30 something years ago. I wasn't like that at all. So, but I was very, how can I say, hungry. You know, when you're hungry, that you want something better than what you have, even though financially, let me tell you, I mean, this house, it's a fairly substantial, big house, and it wasn't about the money, but I didn't know what I was searching for until it was actually demonstrated to me there's more than what I had. And even though financially my boys were private schools and my husband had a quite successful business, it was something that I was missing. And I think, like Louise said, choices that I had that money, not just to have food on the table, have a nice car, have a nice house, but have the choice that if I choose to, take a trip to Europe or whatever, the money would be there. So as a child, we were actually brought up with, work ethic. My mum and my dad come from a very humble beginning. And even when we came to Australia, I mean, I didn't know whether we were poor or rich, because where I was living in the little town we were living, everyone lived the same way. So you had no one to compare yourself to. But when you come to Australia, and at that age in my life, I knew there must be more to it than what I had. Not necessarily financially. It's about not having to put as many hours to achieve what we had financially. My husband worked 7 days a week, and I worked in the shop as well, and then do everything that I had to do as a mother, and building a house at the same time. So it was very, very busy. So when I actually went along to the training, I could see, like, do I have what it takes to do this? Then the self-doubt start happening. You know, the fear of me being able to stand in front of people and doing a demonstration. But I thought, I was looking at the other people in the room, and there was recognition. Someone sold $100, $200, $500, $1,000. And I thought, I'm not here for the small $100. If I'm going to put the time into this business, I need to work the business consistently, have a strategy, because I didn't have a lot of time. So it was very important for me to set my goal, and not a goal that it was to give me what I wanted. It wasn't just for me. When I came in, I didn't come in to buy products for myself. I know a lot of people did, but for me, it was about having that choices, that flexibility, that lifestyle, that I have choices to, not just basically for me, but for my children and my family and everything else. So I actually, obviously, my goal was to achieve the trip. But of course, if you're going to achieve the trip, you are going to get money, financial as you go. So, which I thought it might take me 10 years to achieve a trip. I did not, because I never knew anyone else except that lady. that achieved this trip until I actually start going to training. And I was happy with that because I thought that's fine. I'm doing my two party back in the days we used to call them parties or was, the master classes, whatever. I'm earning my income. Everything else is extra. Okay. So I had to be very disciplined in my strategy because of my time. My boys were all into sports, and my husband wasn't in the shop, so I couldn't really have the help there. So having a goal, you've got to be very specific on what you want. Have a goal that, a dream, like my dream was the trip, but then I had to put into action and I had to allocate time to achieve that goal. So it started with me as, okay, a monthly goal. My first month, I didn't do very much. I think I did $500 because you got your reward was $500, but even back then to get a reward. So I thought I better do it because I don't want to be the only person not doing $500, right? And so I did my first reward, and then I thought I've got to get serious with this if I'm going to do it. So the following month, and you're talking about 30 years ago, I think I did $2,000. And the girl that sponsored me, she was like, because I left all the orders to put them all at the end of the month, because we didn't have computers then. We just had to go to the center and we used to place your order over the counter. So she was very impressed with what I had done, but I always been very strategic because being in the business I was very familiar with goals and your why. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? What am I going to do with that money at the end of the month? Sure, the long-term goal was that I wanted the trip. But the short time, then I've learned about what would I do with the extra money? How am I going to use my money? How am I going to have that why? So it's going to drive me to do that. Because you need to have a purpose why you're doing what you're doing. Because if you don't have a purpose and why you're doing what you're doing, it's very easy when things are not happening to think, oh, well, next month will be another month. No, 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 no. My goal was that I remember my first month we were building the house, and I wanted the European hot plate. So my husband said, there's no way, we're going for a Westinghouse, And I said, and then at the end of the month, I said, because I had earned my $1,000, I said, we're going for the European, here's the money. He couldn't believe it. Because when I started, I wasn't very open with him about what I was doing because he thought it was like, you already got so much on your plate. Why would you want to go and take something else on? We don't need the money. But it wasn't about the money. It was just bigger than that, So because sometimes when you have a specific goal, and I was a little bit concerned to share with him because he was a little bit negative in my early days. So you've got to be careful when you have a goal, when you set a goal, where you want to be, where you want to go, just make sure you share with people that can lift you up, inspire you, right? Because if not, it can take you the other way. So my husband at that time, it wasn't very positive. So I kept it, I didn't share with him about this. Actually, I didn't share with him about the business for about a year, and I'll share that with you how that happened. So when having a specific goal, it gives you you got to see, mine was about choices, lifestyle, have a choice to do what I want to do with my money. If I want to buy an expensive pair of shoes, I had the money there. I didn't have to ask my husband that. What is yours? Because you need to have something that drives you on the days that you don't show up. I remember, listening to a podcast, and that's another thing that there's not a day that goes by without me learning, opening a book or listen to a podcast. I go for a walk most mornings, and I do Pilates twice a week. And before I do that, I do a walk. Every morning, my phone with me, and I listen to some positive podcast. So I would really encourage you to make sure your daily, like Louise was saying, resilience, determination, anything and everything you find to feed that mind, to feed the brain, it's very powerful, okay? Because what you tell yourself, it's exactly, and the thoughts that we have every day, it's where you have the success rate you would have. So in going back to my goal, one of the other things that I think is very, very important when you have a goal, that you are specific with the goal, but let me see, I want to share this with you, and have discipline. Discipline in everything. It's discipline in, like I said, listening or reading a book. Discipline in having a fit body. Even your health, it's very important that if you look after yourself. I remember when I had my family here, and yeah, my life has been a little bit of everywhere, but it's been amazing. I wouldn't change it for the world. When we had COVID, my sons lived with us. My son lives in New York. They happened to be here when COVID hit, and I had the whole family here for a whole year. But even through that, I still managed to achieve my seminar. But what I was just saying to you is having the discipline to look after yourself, to look after your body, after your mind, and to feel healthy and fit. Because if you're not healthy and fit, you can't really achieve your goals or your dreams or your inspirations. So it's very important that you look at skills. Skills is everything, because I went to every training. I've never missed out on a training. And I love Louise. Thank you, Louise, because you are an inspiration, not just to your team, but all of us. And when I was thinking, when you have that goal that really moves you, when you have that burning belly, like you said, the burning feeling in your belly, that is what you need, what we need to be up. And we are so blessed to have mentors like Louise, Louise and many others, and Diana's and all that we can learn from. Because, like I said to you, I'm not the person I was many years ago, due to the people that I have encountered, how can I say, been with. Even my dad used to say, tell me who you go and I'll tell you what you've been doing. I'll tell you your habits. And I know it's very much up there. So having an obsession to learn your skills. No, when I say learning your skill, it's not necessarily being the best makeup artist. Okay, I won a few awards when we used to do makeup classes and have judging our makeup. But the most important thing is your skills. It's your mindset and communication with people. If you don't like people, you're not going to be successful in this business. But if you like people and learning the art of communication, and I have read a lot of books, like I said to you, like I said, every day, but don't forget, my first book that I read, I was 35 years old. This is when I joined Nutrimetic. If it wasn't for Nutrimetic, I would never have been exposed to this world. So I am very grateful that I have come, not only that I joined the company, that I have been surrounded by this amazing, positive, energetic, dynamic leaders, because I would not have that. And I know many of you are feeling like that. But even like this, the seminar, the conference that's coming up, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that everybody should be attending that, regardless whether you're doing big things in Nutrimetic or where you're not sure yet. It is something that you never want to miss out on, things like that, because I know that the speakers, regardless whether we've got an outside speaker or not, is going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible, fantastic. So once I decided what I wanted to do, how did I plan, had my how-tos back then? Like I said to you, remember, I was pretty nervous in standing in front of people. So I did lots of facials. I did a lot of lead generation. Maybe back then we used to, basically we didn't do what we did today. The business has changed. And that's the other thing, is we have to move with the change. But back then, I'll take you back when I started, we were told we had to, to be successful, to be a manager, to be a director back then, you had to have a minimum of 12 parties a month. 12 parties, maybe a couple of got postponed, so you still did your 10,000, your 10 parties. Now, I'm not a person that even today, I still want to maximize on my time that I dedicate in my business. I'm talking about your personal sales. So back then I worked it out that for me to earn 45%, I need to do my 10 parties. My 10 parties gave me my $4,000, it gave me my $1,800. Now that's really good money, and I shared that with a lot of people. And, within 4 years, I think I became a manager within 12 months. And I achieved my first trip overseas within, I think I became a manager in March, and we went to September. And like I said, Nutrimitic, where, like Louise said, Kauai, you couldn't, like, oh my God, he was just, for someone new like me. And I hadn't traveled much because even though we had the money, my husband, we had a retail coffee shop. So you can't just close the shop and go. So, about 6 months prior to that, I said to my husband, my sister was going to Queensland. I said, why don't we go? Let's close the shop and we'll just go for a week or something. Oh, no, 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 I can't close the shop. I can't close the shop. So this made me more determined. I feel I want to travel with you or without you. If 500 people are going overseas, I'm okay to go with them, right? So within, I think I was 18 months in the business, I actually achieved my first trip to Kauai. And oh my God, I was so excited that I thought something's going to happen and I won't get on that plane. You're really, really so excited. So, so I was telling everyone in the shop, I'm going to Hawaii, I'm going to Kauai. And my husband said to me one day, I thought this company invites the husband or to come along with the partners. I said, yeah, but how can you come? You've been telling me for years that we can't go for a holiday only to Vita Harbour, just an hour away, because we can't close the shop. How can you work it or organize it now? He goes to me, oh, no, leave it with me. Isn't it interesting though, that he wouldn't go before, but when I achieved the trip, he came with me. But you know what? It was the best thing ever, because like I said to you, when you've got a positive energy around you, whether it's your friends or your family and your husband, it really makes a huge difference in moving forward. Because not only he was holding me back, I think I could have done it earlier if it was, I'll blame him. It wasn't sort of because of that, but then of course the kids felt the same feeling that my husband, I was out, they thought I was having gone to a party and things like that. And then I told him one night, Mum is not going to party, Mum is doing this. This is what I'm doing. And when I achieve this level, I will take you anywhere in the world you want to go. So when I show them the actual level that I was going to aiming at and take them, it wasn't to be a near Sam, it was to be a sales director. So I set my goal beyond the goal because I was in for the big things. I wanted the sales director. And I knew that if I did that, I would financially be able to take him anywhere in the world. So within 4 years, anyway, I'll take you back to the first trip, and Rocky came with me, and he was a changed man by the time we come back, because he had really, in a way, it was my fault because I didn't expose him to the business, to educate him on what was this business all about. But it was good that he came and saw for himself. And when he saw what this company could perhaps give us, me working the business for me, for him, for the whole family. On the way home, he said to me, look, why don't you go part-time in the shop and do more Nutrimatic, which I was blown away because I didn't think that was ever coming out of his mouth, his words. And I don't know, Louise might remember this. We had an amazing trip because we had all the film stars in the same resort. We had Cher, we had Lord Bridges, We had the Stucky and Hutch. Some of you might remember. Now you can tell her my age. And we had the bikini competition. So I don't know if that was what made him, he thinks I want more of these trips. So sometimes even if you find that people around you in the beginning might not be so excited for you, keep on keeping on because you're the one that knows what this business can give you. Okay. So yeah, we did that. And I did say to my children, you know, mum will take you anywhere you want when I achieve this, not if, when. And remember, words are very powerful. You do not want to say, if I get this, if I get that. No, when I get this. No, it's a choice. You know, Nutrimetic offers you a smorgasbord of choices. It's really up to you when you take it, whether it's the entree, the main course, or the full menu. It's really up to you. Nobody's going to, you know, get up and fill your plate. It's really up to us to grab. The company has got a lot of incentive to entice us, to inspire us, to drive us, which I don't know any other company that would do that. And I can tell you, even my early beginnings, and I remember a gentleman, and Louise would remember, Roger and Naomi Alberts, and they came to me, and they were beautiful, beautiful people, and they said to me, Mimi, we notice you, even at tea towel, you're up there picking up, you know, the incentive. I don't know if it was the actual item or was the recognition, but find out what drives you. Maybe it was a recognition. Maybe I didn't get a pat on the back when I was working. You know, even though in some ways, I was in sales, I excelled in some targets. I got a little morning tea with my store manager, but there wasn't big things, but it wasn't about things like that. I think it was the recognition. So I went on to do, even though I was still working full time with my husband's business, and I worked the Nutrimetics business, and obviously while we're building this house as well and everything together. So we come back, and I went part time in the business. You know, 3 days I worked with my husband for 3 days, and extra 2 days I put into Nutrimetic. Now, this is where I'll share with you that, you know, months went by, I think about 2-3 months, and nothing really extra have done just by having those 2 extra days. So the way you plan your days is very, very important, because even though I had more time then, my business didn't grow as much. So I sat down and had a little meeting with myself as well. I thought, this is not on, because I value my time and I value my worth. And my worth was that I wanted, you know, I need to move faster than I did. Okay. So I come back. I wasn't always about the cars. The cars didn't really face me. I had a quite nice car, but we had moved into this house after we come back from our first conference overseas, holiday. We moved into the house, but because we didn't want to borrow any extra money, because the interest rate at that time was pretty high, we hadn't done the landscaping. So, you know, I thought we had got a quote, and this is why it's good to have a purpose, why you're doing what you're doing. And I think I've become the trip was over. I've had the trip. Oh yeah, it'll be another 12 months. I'll be okay, you know. So I was very relaxed about this. So you've got to have a goal beyond the goal that keeps you on track. So when I went to this training one night, they said, I went into we used to have this training, we call it the car class. And the lady said to me, Mimi, you go into that class, that's the car class. I said, no, I'm not really fussed about the car. Goes, no, that's fine. Just go there. That's the best class for you. You learn a lot of skills. And I was all about learning skills. So I went in that class, and I'm sitting there, and she's telling me what the value of having a company car and everything like that. Even though I had heard it before, it didn't register with me until I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I wonder how much my car will be worth. Because she said a car is worth about $10,000 a year, or 12,000. I can't remember what it was, the figure there. So I come back and said to my husband, you know, if we were to sell our car, how much will we get? And it was quite a nice car. And he said, oh, probably 10,000, 12,000. So I thought, oh my God, that is the key to my landscape. And you wouldn't believe it. We come back in September, October, November, December. I did my car run. Now, December, it's a bit iffy sometimes, but you know what? I come through with flying colors because I had that specific want and goal. What did I do? How did I do that? I actually booked extra. Instead of doing 10 parties a week or 10 a month, or doing, whether you did facials and that, I made sure that my sales were not less than $4,000, $5,000 personal sale, even though I was working with my husband. But the beauty about that was it's not so much the sales and the personal sales that you're earning on. How many people do you meet when you do that type of sales? So obviously growing the business, you can't just do it alone. You need to inspire other people to run with you. Now, if you don't have, I was so excited because we sold the car and we were having a landscape done. So how do you think when I was in front of people, I felt inspired, I felt excited, I felt that everyone can do what I'm doing. And everything started to happen because my mindset was on a positive energy level. So, you can think I want the car, but if you're in your back of your mind, say, I'm going to get that. I haven't got many people. And I said that to one of the ladies that one night. I said, well, I was going to get for the car, but Maria and Nair's going away for 3 months, whatever. So that goes my car. She goes, Mimi, there's a lot of Marias out there. So it's about building a business with other people around you. But when you got that energy, you find that people will follow you. So we did that was in December. I got my company car. I think at that time you had to do about $10,000 or $12,000. By March, we were doing 20,000 in my SM ship, and I was developing a manager. So it all came because I had that purpose. I had that purpose to get that landscaping done. Okay. So and then I've learned that, no matter what the company put out, this is what I needed to do. I need to have that goal beyond the goal. So what did I do from there? I just kept on doing, teaching people, doing my 12 shows, sponsor because our kit was $200 back then. So we always were taught to do, at least 10 in the group and at least 4 to 6 personally yourself. Now, based on the group that you have, you got to be the key driver. You got to be the captain of your ship. So if the team, you haven't got as many people sponsoring, until you do that, you need to carry that load. You need to push through and invite a lot more people personally yourself. So, I mean, the way it is now with no, anyone and everyone. But what is important is that we do, and I know that when I don't spend the time in the business suffers. Not just on that month. I have had 3 busy months, really, really busy. I had a wedding in the family. My son got married, which is beautiful. And that's the idea that you can take time out and come back to it. My son got married. My husband went away for a conference in US. So I had to run the household, babysitting the grandchildren and doing everything. And then, of course, we had the wedding and my family from New York came with the other guests. And so my 3 months, January, February, and March, they obviously didn't happen the first month, but you could see it. But guess what? We picked up in April and here we are and we're going forward. So the amount of time you spend in your business will actually reflect on your outcome. So because really basically what it is the amount of people you speak to daily, weekly, will make a difference on the outcome at the end of the month. So you need to have a strategy. How many people am I going to speak to every day? Now, what I like the idea, and I know that Luis says blocking. I do my to-do list with A, B, and C. What are the most important things to do on A? The reason I'm doing that too is because even though people say, no, Mimi, you're not going to retire. Why should I retire? I retire. I don't know when I'm going to retire. I love what I do. I love being involved with people. It keeps your mind active. And I would miss all this. I would miss all of everyone that, all my good friends around Australia, all the people that I'm still going to be meeting. So, but I have got a fairly busy life, which is great because I can still babysit my grandchildren and I can still run a business. So, because it's flexible. But at the same time, I have to be disciplined on when I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So if I do spend a day with my grandchildren, maybe at night time or the next day, I'll make it up for what I did. The other thing that I like to do, I would not do my Pilates class. You need to have that strength, especially as you get older. You need to have that strength and good health to be able to drive your business and be with people that can inspire to be like you. So, and be like you, it's not just, obviously, we are in the beauty industry. You really got to be that person that people look at you. What color lipstick is she wearing? What color blush is she wearing? Be curious. To me, being curious, you cannot have abundance unless you're curious. Even in learning, like I'm always been about autobiographies, and asking lots of questions, even with your customers. It's not just about selling a product. You're selling yourself. They've got to like you. What are you offering? Are you educating them with the latest technology, with the latest products, with the latest ingredients? Because if we're not educating them with the latest ingredients and technology that we have in our products, guess what? They're going to see the ad on TV or on, Facebook or Instagram. Today, people are inundated and they're very knowledgeable. So it's up to us to be able to educate our client and keep, feeding them with the latest as well. So, even offering people, like even our VIP, it's interesting because sometimes we tend to forget about them, but we need to educate them as well. And, even when I do the videos, and I do a lot of that, obviously the business has changed. Where we used to do the 12 parties back in the days, now maybe we work with 2-3 people, but 2-3 people can be more successful than what we used to do back in the days. And I do have a beauty room at home, and I invite, as you can see in my background, I invite people to come to my house. And it's about educating them on the product, educating them. And I do get a lot of leads that I say to, which is the truth. I need the model to do my videos for my training for my group. Would you be my model? So I have met a lot of people through that because wherever I go, depends on the age group, I invite people to come to my house for a facial. And of course, when they're here, they're going to love the product. They're going to purchase the product. They're going to join, of course. And then, of course, let me help you with getting your rewards, because I know, Maria, you obviously you had a wish list and you probably would like the other products. Let me help you get those. So you're getting, by getting that lead like that, you're getting the sale, you're getting the sponsor, and you're getting the future business. And this is how you need to look at your month and say, what's happening? What have I got in my diary? And now is the time you do it. Well, back, I still work like the old days where the April, I would be booked out for May. So if you can work like that, you find your business is going to be more successful. And because you're relaxed, you're going to attract more people into your business and you're going to attract more success, because it's about having that streamline your business. I know that a lot of people have maybe 2 months booked up. I've always worked with at least 6 weeks, 2 months in advance. So, and when you're working your business and say you're looking at, you need to fill your diary, fill up your spots in your diary. There's different ways you can do it. There's social media where, advertising on the public pages. I still like a little bit of the old fashioned way. I've got a few business that's known me for years, and I still like to put baskets out, because if I put baskets out in my area, then it's more inclined that I have people that live in the area and get to know them, and it's easier for them to come to my house to do that as well. So when I was talking to you about the other thing, it's very important, follow up. Follow up, it's very, very important that because we meet so many people, they have a system, whether you have it on, we're great, it's beautiful, it's fantastic. We can put our customers on our portal now, which is great. But if you find, years ago, we used to put on the card system, but it's knowing exactly what your client needs, has purchased, what type of skin type has she got, and how to contact when the mascara is on $15, how long since she bought the mascara. So maybe the follow-up is very imperative in our business. And of course, if the client buys ongoing, then of course you're giving them the opportunity to join, but when people join, I still think it's very, very important that you treat them like a customer until they prove otherwise. Because sometimes we tend to forget, oh, she's a VIP, the company will send around. It's not the same. I look at, some of the videos, and they are obviously more professional than the ones I'm doing. The videos of the company that I post, the company does, I don't get as many comments as the ones that I do, so obviously they like to see, maybe something that's normal, natural, and they say, oh, Mimi, you come in natural, I feel like you're talking to me. And that's the sort of feedback we would like to do, to have. The other thing is if you are, these days we just send the products out, but if I'm in the area, I like to deliver my products, because I think when I deliver my products, I can get a lot more out of it than just posting the product. Because if you do post the product, make sure you follow up after. And if you put a little sample, that you make sure you follow up. How did you like that sample? Did you get the order? Are you familiar how to use the product? Because, we do have a lot of different products. And do they know how to layer those products? I think if you can offer them service, they're going to be loyal to you regardless. I have people that I've had from since day one, and they are the VIP, which some of them are VIP, and they wouldn't go anywhere else. Or people that I service them as customers because they don't want to be a VIP, they just want me to service them as well. But those people that are customers of mine, make sure that at least once a year or twice a year, I invite them to have a facial. And, because that's what creates the connection, the relationship in sales, more today than ever. It's very, very important that you connect with them and you stay in touch. Because if you don't stay in touch, even a VIP, if she's got some issue or she's not sure how to claim her product rebate, or it could be even like I had someone that, obviously we follow up with the people that have got, oh God, I've gone blank. When you achieve it, say the bonus gift, and they don't know how to claim it, a coupon, coupon. That she feels comfortable, or someone they achieved, I'm very, very, very focused on people in my team when they do the thank you gift, send them a message. It doesn't take long. Even if it's on my page, congratulate them. The bonus gift. And this lady said to me, I don't even know that. Now we think the company, obviously they look at it, but obviously she didn't. She goes, I didn't know that I achieved it. And because I did that, I said to her, not only did you earn your bonus gift, but you earned $125 in cash. You probably took 20%, you're earning an extra $25. She goes, oh, I didn't realize you could earn more. So here you are. Now she's looking at getting the Starbucks this month. So it's about keeping in touch. If we're going to sponsor people in our business, we really make sure that we are connecting with them. And maybe the A, B, and C would be a really good thing to say. Maybe your first priority, of course, would be your people, the girls in your team that are growing their business, that become GL and SGL and whatever. But then maybe the B could be the ones that do the Starbucks, and maybe sometimes we forget about them. And the C might be just the ones that occasionally do it. So I think having a strategy when you're going to, doing what you're doing, and, because sometimes people procrastinate. And I asked that question a few times with, my consultant, and they say because they're not mentally prepared, they procrastinate because they haven't got a clear vision. Okay, I'm going to work my business 3 days a week or whatever it might be. And they don't have a strategy. What am I going to do on those 3 days? So it comes Tuesday. It's a day for Nutrimetic. But guess what? They might be working on paperwork and things like that. That's not actually in your business. That's not great. I mean, of course, there's a place for that. But do that at night time when everyone is asleep. Or when you can't send a message or you can't talk to someone after 8:30. So, have a strategy, A, B, and C, when you can actually slot people there and when you can do that thing. For me, it's very important. The other thing is when you are connecting with people, it's about, the word consultant. It means to consult. Don't keep on selling the same. To me, I think to create loyalty with you, you have to offer more than just a sale. You got to create that loyalty with a client. You need to give them knowledge and information. So, say the Nutrimoist, and Nutrimoist is someone, everyone loves Nutrimoist. But if this lady's been using Nutrimimoist for, say, 10 years, well, her skin would have changed by then. That's the person that I invite along to come for a facial. And even because if she doesn't feel the other product, she might still be very loyal to the Nutrimimoist. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but what else does she need underneath that Nutrimimoist to give her that flawless finish that she probably sees on TV with the serums and things like that? And she goes, and a lot of times people say to me, oh, I was thinking, I saw that people wear serum underneath their moisturizer. Now, we assume that those people know. They don't. Some age groups, the younger ones do, but, if you get, and people get busy. If they've got a family and they're working full time, they need someone to prop them and say, listen, come over, I'll give you a pamper, and get to experience that range as well. The other thing that, generating leads as well is this month is amazing because we've got the biggest morning tea. I'm doing a big function on Sunday, and we've got 128 people coming. I didn't sell all the tickets. I'm involved, and this might help you. I'm involved with a group of ladies that we probably do about 3-4 fundraising events over the year. One is the Melbourne Cup. One is the women's, what's it called? International Women's Day in March. And this one here, we decided to do, it's called for Catherine House. Now, Catherine House, it's I think it's only in South Australia, but it's for women that have been abused. They've got nowhere to go, and this place actually houses them with the women that have obviously have had personal, abuse and all that. So, because we're gonna raise money for them, we've got a speaker. I'm putting a raffle together, but I thought I'd do a little bit different as well. I'm actually selling facials for anyone there. We've got 128 people, so we should get really good leads. And I decided I'm going to sell facials. I'm not going to make it because they're going to do a donation as well. So, if I can charge $10, $15, I haven't decided on the price, $20 for a facial, that money can go to the charity. So, locking up with a charity or another business, it's a good way of getting yourself out there and getting more leads and get more exposure as well with your business as well. And like I said to you, I'm still very much doing my usual things, my baskets, and whatever conversational marketing. We're everywhere. We're going like wherever you go, there's people there, there's faces, and in the early days, that's how we used to generate leads. It's by asking people for a facial. And I don't think that's changed before, because sure, you can do it on social media, but there's nothing better than face to face when you can sell them the idea or what you would do with that facial. And I find that when the face to face, I have more success. Most people that I give them, I offer them a complimentary facial. I think out of 100, probably, 99 would say yes. And probably 90% of those people will actually come and have a facial. So you've got to find your niche. How would you like to do it? And how much time have you got to apply? But don't forget, if you specifically are going for a specific goal, you need to have your time, how much time you're going to spend in the business. Because the more time you spend in the business, the more leads you're going to get, the more phone calls you'll be able to do, the more results you're going to get, the more people you're going to sponsor, the more people you'll be able to develop as well. So I'm not sure if have I missed that? The other thing is very important when you know your customer, ask question. I think not enough questions. You know what? Sometimes when I am with a family member, they can't believe it because, oh my God, you're going on and on. But it's not about that. I'm genuinely interested in people, what they do, what sort of work they do, what's their title, how much they enjoy. I like to find out as much as I can about the person that's in front of me. And that's gone back even years ago when when we used to do a lot more group hostess. I always wanted to find out more about the lady that I'm going to be presenting on that night. Because the more I knew about her background, her friends, who's coming, who's not coming, are they career people, are they, people that are home? I even used to ask, look, we're looking for people, and you can still ask that today. We are very, very snow under with Nutrimetics. We're looking for people to join our business. Do you know anyone that would like to earn extra income, extra money? I mean, who would not want to earn extra money today? Let me tell you, this is not going to change regardless who gets in. The way prices are going, and it's not just here around the world, we can't help that. What we can do is earn more money that we can buy the things we still want to and more. So we are really very lucky now in our business because there's no glass ceiling. You can plan to have an extra 2-3 connection with people on that month, and you can earn yourself an extra $300-400. So we're not like you're working for a boss and you're only going to get that amount of money at the end of the month, and that's your salary. And unless someone leaves or dies or whatever, you're not going to get that promotion, and then you might not get that promotion. So here you can promote yourself whenever you want to. And it's all about coming down to strategy, time, and be disciplined, be disciplined. Someone actually, his name is, I'll give you his name. I only heard him on one of the podcasts. Jeff Walker is his name. And he was asked, what is the difference between success people and the people that don't achieve the goals? He goes, they're prepared to do the reps, REPS. He said, if you want to have strong biceps, you got to go to the gym. Now, I've been doing Pilates now for about, I would say, over 20 years. Do I jump out of bed and think, oh my God, I really love going to this Pilates? Yeah, sure, I don't mind, whatever. But, it's not about going there that I love. It's the outcome that it gives me. So you have to put in things that you don't actually jump for joy to do, like, maybe it could be the phone calls, maybe it's the follow-up, I'm not sure. But find out what you maybe not so much like, but think about the outcome is going to give you. You know what? The outcome, I was very nervous in asking people for a facial. I was very nervous getting on the phone. I was very nervous in standing in front and doing a presentation, so much so that I thought I'm going to forget everything else I'm going to say. And I used to highlight. So if I was talking about, well, we didn't have platinum, say Restore, I used to highlight the benefits, what Restore does. And I used to give a brochure to each and everyone in my group for them to read. Now, while they were reading that, guess what? I was listening to the information and it stayed with me. But the other thing he did, I don't know if you've ever done a group of people, like 5-6 people, they start talking, sometimes they don't listen to you. guess what? The host used to say, be quiet. Maria's going to read this, or Diana's going to read this next one, or Louise will read the next one. So we made it like a game. So I think don't take things so seriously. Make it like a game. What works for you? I just think that life is a game. How many more things you can play in, the more rewards you're going to get. Sure, we're going to fail on some, but the person that's successful is because she tried a lot of things and she might have failed on more things, but she achieved more. So I think, I've got a good friend that I went to school with, and we connected after many years. Now, this guy at school had no idea he's going to become anybody. Actually, the teacher said, you're going to end up in jail and you're going to be a no-hoper. Well, this guy, I'm pleased to say, he's my friend, he's a billionaire. So, and I said to him, Nick, how did you do that? He said, because Mimi said for me, even though their parents, and I knew his parents because they lived down the road from us, and they used to have this house with goats and everything, the very humble beginning. And he said, because I want to break that poverty cycle. And not only that, that poverty was never in my DNA. I've never ever talked about that. I always talked about being rich. We're here on Saturday night, many shopping centre around New Zealand and Australia and everything. And we're, every time we come to Gold Coast, it's great to have those sort of people because I get to stay in his penthouse at the Gold Coast. So surrounding yourself with positive people, and every time we are at dinner together, whatever, I pick his brains. How did you do it? What happened? What was it? Did you ever give up on the goal? He said, no. He said, I'd risked a lot. I took a lot of chances. So what is our risk? It's not very big. All we have to do talk to people. And sure, what you feel today that it might be a challenge, tomorrow will be a breeze. But let me tell you, only when you get to the age of elegance like me, you're so glad and so excited of the journey that I have had and the opportunity that I have had, not just traveling with Nutrimetic, yeah, of course with Nutrimetic, but with myself, that I have that choice. And that was able to help my children as well. And they're very successful in their own rights. But, when you hear of overnight success, it does, you probably don't realize overnight success, those people behind the scene have done a lot of work behind the scene before they become successful. So, have a goal, if other people could do it. In our business, it's something that has been done before. It's not something new. What my son has done, which I won't go into it, he created a company that hasn't been done before. He developed something. How does that come about? The inspiration and excitement and the positive energy you can pass that on to your children. And that. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if I hope that you got something out of tonight. But look, if one way doesn't work, if you find that one system doesn't work, don't give up. Just ask. Don't look for the excuse, look for the solution. And there's a lot of people around us that we can actually get picked up, inspired, and move on. We're very blessed that we have a product that performs any other product that I know. And we're just going to share it. We need to share that product more and more and more. So on this note, I wish you all the best. And I hope that you take one little inspiration of what I said, and it can change your life. And if it wasn't for Nutrimetic, I probably would be still doing sandwiches. So thank God for that.
Oh, Mimi, you were destined for more than working in the coffee shop for the rest
That's it.
of your life, darling.
Thank
But
you.
you just followed, well, it was just an accident that you went along to a Nutrimetics workshop and you met this girl and you wanted to have a trip. And so often that happens. And how many people over the years have you then inspired to take a little bit of a risk? And
It's the biggest, Louise, to me, it's the biggest reward And you reminded me of something that you can never have. I remember developed a manager, and she's never had been away. She never even had a passport. And she was on stage with her husband and her two children, and he had tears in his
Oh,
eyes
wow.
that came to Phuket with us, and that. So
Yeah,
that is a price you can't put to. It's not just about you, it's the people, like you said, that you take along with you
it
and
is.
inspire them for bigger things, you know?
You sure do. You certainly do. And Mimi, I just loved, I've written pages and pages and pages of notes. You've summarized the how-tos and what they can do tonight, tomorrow, the next day, for all of May to put in a massive sense of action and urgency, because I believe that what we do over the last 6 months prepares us and sets us up for success in the next six
For
months.
sure. Yeah,
So it's time to put in the effort in May, June, July, whether you see any results or not.
that's it.
Know that August, September, October, November, and December, those five
They'll
months of
come.
the year are probably the best 5 months of the year for Mimi, for I, for Diana. So we have to wear the first 7 months of being consistent, doing the do, as I call it. Do your job. Do your
Louise,
damn
that's
job.
business in general. Like when we had the coffee shop, there were weeks that you didn't make anything,
Yes.
and then you would make it up. So, we probably like sometimes, especially with social media, because you don't get the reaction straight away.
No.
But it feels so good when a couple of weeks later, someone rings you, I really like that video. Can you get me this product? And you think, oh, let me do it
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Because it's very hard to track it sometimes, but trust
Yes.
yourself and trust the business and trust the product that it does deliver, and it will happen.
Exactly right, Mimi. That is such a good note to finish our session on. I'm positive everyone loved it and enjoyed it, and it went like five
I
minutes.
know,
I could go for another hour, you and I talking and bantering and giving ideas,
I
but it is
know.
time to put it into action. Two things I'd love to say to you. There's going to be a lot of people that achieve a trip to Borneo in September. However, a lot of the girls that I'm working with and I know it's possible when Nutrimetics, probably at conference or on the 1st of August, when qualification will start for the next trip. And we have the opportunity to earn with the new image group. And I was fortunate enough to go on just that last trip. And we flew to Singapore and then went on a cruise ship. And what I loved about it is all your food is free.
I know.
And it
Too
was
much.
sensational. Too much. It's always too much. And before that, their trip was Club Med at Bali. And the year before that, it was Club Med at Bali. And the good thing about Club Med at Bali is not only all your food was free, but your drinks were free, including the alcoholic drinks. So my gorgeous two sons, Adam and Rick Buchner, were on those trips, and they took full advantage of all of the cocktails every single night. So not only can you save a lot of money by earning a car, you can save a lot of money by earning a new image trip where they tend to do something where everything is included. And my guess, mind you, I did tell people for 8 years we were going on to seminar in Canada, and on the 8th year it came true.
Oh,
So you can't always believe me, but my guess is that it will be a Club Med resort, and it will be one where they're doing up a lot of the Club Meds and making them spectacular, and it will be one in Asia.
well, you know what, Louise, when Maria Mostrula, Maria, when she
Yes.
came to the first trip, it was actually Club Med with
Yes.
Nutrimetics. And her husband come up to me when we were leaving, we're coming back, goes, Mimi, I brought all this money and I haven't spent anything. I
Oh.
said to Paul, we're still at the airport, and her and Maria bought about 12 pairs of shoes at the airport.
Ah, she fixed that problem, didn't she?
So there
So
we
true.
are. So you don't have to spend the money, but you can spend the money on shopping, and that's
Exactly, exactly. And the other thing I would love to say to you is that conference is in July. And I know, for example, with Mimi and her team, they live in South Australia. So there's airfares to get, there's accommodation, and then there's the cost of the conference.
Hmm.
But I do know that Nutrimetics have just booked and signed the contract with their guest speaker. I know it's a guy, that's all I know at this stage. And I do know that to go and see an international speaker, and he will be extremely professional, extremely high up. Um, it's going to cost you about $500 or $600 to go to a similar seminar.
Oh yeah.
So not only do we pay around our $300, I still have to register, which I'm going to do this week. Have you registered already, Mimi?
Yes. Only
Oh,
only
good.
this morning, I think it was.
This
Last
morning,
night.
we're on the same wavelength. Get are the accommodations
But you
booked?
know what I was saying, skill. When I first joined many years ago, I remember going to a sales seminar, sales
Yes.
techniques, and we paid about $300 back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Tom, his name was Tom Hopkins.
Oh, yes.
He's
Love Tom
amazing.
Hopkins. He was
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
sensational.
educating yourself, like anyone you
Yeah.
talk to, your skills are very
Mm.
important.
And $300
It's nothing.
30 years ago,
Oh, it was a lot
that
of
was
money.
a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. But was like I said to you, anything and everything that I could grab,
Yes, you
I
did.
knew would make my job easier and I'll
Yes.
get there
You were
faster.
willing to invest in yourself.
That's
So I put it out there, if it's possible at all, love you to come 19th and 20th of July for consultants and above, and the 18th of July for sales managers and above. Okay, so you get a 5-star dinner, and yes, they include the wine, the beer, and the soft drink.
Mm.
Um, you receive and it's silver service. And this year they're going to have it like the Academy Awards on the Saturday night, where we all go and they'll have the awards. And then we move to another area and we have our white tablecloth dinner and the DJ or whatever
the
music and
after
dancing.
party, the Logis after party, isn't it?
Is that what it's called? So this is the awards after party.
Yeah.
And come along because I intend to win one of those awards and I want you all there clapping me and supporting me.
I'm
Okay.
sure you're going to be up there, Louise.
Thank you. I've got a heavy competition with Deanna Purser who's on.
Uh, well, you're both dynamic, so
Uh, so we'll both win an award, I'm
of
sure.
course, of
So
course.
love you to be there. Love you to hear from the guest speaker. You'll have 2 5-star lunches. You'll have, last time we had 2 5-star sort of brunch breakfast because they fed everyone on the Saturday because so many people just would come in that Saturday and arrive, or not have time to go and have breakfast. And there were the quiches and the fruit and the cheese and the bickies and the coffee machine, and it was, and you know what? You often pick up the best ideas and meet your future lifetime friends while you're selecting your piece of fruit or your quiche there.
It's
And
true.
it is so much fun. So I'd love to inspire you to come. For sales directors and above, it is all day seminar on Friday and the sales director dinner on the Friday night. And then Saturday and Sunday, total entertainment, everything will be provided. And with a bit of luck, they'll release the next overseas trip. And do you think there's a chance that Mimi might go for that trip?
Which
And
trip?
the next one
Oh, yeah, of
that
course.
gets released.
Oh, of course.
uh,
Me, I'm all about trips. All about
I
trips.
sort of gathered that over the last hour, Mimi, just a little
Did
bit.
I keep on saying it? I
Yes,
kept
you
on
did.
repeating it. Well, you've got to say something 7 times before people register. So
That
there you
you do.
are.
You do.
Well, you know, the good thing is it's not just about the trip. Your trip gives you all everything else that comes with it, the
It
growth
gives
and
you the
everything.
income. If you're going for a car, it helps you get your car. It's everything. I agree. But most of all, it's getting to mix with incredible people that can become your mentors, that can become the people that get your fire in your belly and give you the skills to do what we do. And like Mimi, are you going to share with everyone for me how old you are, please?
You said, I'm actually 72.
72. Okay. All right.
This
So,
is why when you get to this age, you're so grateful, I should say the word, because that's not wait until tomorrow, the day after, the month after, because months and years go. I cannot believe it, Louise, that it's been more than 20 years since I had my 50.
yes.
Can't believe
Yes.
where time is gone. So
Yes.
let's make it now. You got to work on
Mm.
doing it now and doing it,
Yes. Yeah.
persistent.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to miss out I feel that I have, and I'm still going, but that I have got choices. I have got the flexibility. I have got the income. I have got the finance to have those choices.
Yes.
And it
Yep.
wouldn't happen without Nutrimetics.
Isn't that
So do
marvelous?
it any way you can, what works for you. You know, you got beautiful ideas, Louise. I mean, I have my ideas, I have my style, you got your style,
Yes,
but we can pick from each other's
we can. We can.
brains.
But the most important thing is to be you, be
Be you.
authentic,
Yeah, be
particularly on
authentic.
social media. They don't want to see anything that's false. They want to see the real you.
But that's
And
what I was
that's,
saying to you about the videos that, I
yes,
post or even a post. It doesn't get the same as it does. And I have more people coming back to me and we're not all professional. We're just learning,
correct.
And what it used to take me 2 hours to do 10 minutes. Now I just jump on and whatever will be.
Exactly. You become comfortable and relaxed. I bet you're still nervous at times, though.
Of course I
I
am.
bet you still go and say, "Oh, why did I say that? What was I talking
I
about?
probably
I rambled on about nothing." But it's
Louise, I probably leave this and I'll be saying, oh, I forgot to say this and I forgot to say that.
no, you're not allowed to. Remember, you're
No, you can't
purely
say that.
positive
Oh,
person,
that's
my
right. You can't
darling.
say that.
I'm not
No, you
permitting
know
it
what?
today.
We're all human, aren't
We
we?
are.
We're
We are.
human.
And that's what makes us unique. So embrace you. The people that join with you will love you for exactly how you are. But what we want you is to be the best
You
version
can
of
be.
yourself every
Yes.
single day. But even more so, just just for me, it's the stress of not having to worry about, can I go out to dinner? Can I go on a holiday? So Mimi's 72. She inspires me. If she can do this at 72, I am a little bit younger.
I
I-
know.
I'm going to say a lot younger, really, but no, it's a little bit.
Oh, okay. But
And
you're in the
then our
70
gorgeous
club.
Lynn O'Hara is
You're
on.
in the 70 club, right? Am I
Uh,
right? You're in the
Lynn's
70
in the
club?
80 club now.
Who's that?
Lynn O'Hara.
Is she? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You look amazing, Lynn.
And as funny and entertaining and vibrant as
I
she
know.
was the day I first met her.
I know. She's,
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for
thank
joining
you.
us. Hope you
Thank you,
had as much
Louise. Thank
fun
you.
and
Bye.
learnt as much as I did. And remember, next month, Creating a Bright Future. And our guest speaker, if I'm correct, is the gorgeous Deanna Perza, who helped teach Mimi so
That's
much
it.
of what she
Everything I
knows
know.
today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.